It is Friday, August 22nd, so we're gonna go over these 6 books that I currently have started. I will say a week and a half ago, I started a new job. My kids started back at school and our house building started ramping up. So we have a lot of things going on and it's definitely impacted my reading, but let's go over the books. First one is Letters of Trust by Wanda Brunsetter. This is the first book in a series, but it is a book on the 25 books I'll read in 2025 because I won it in a Goodreads giveaway. I'm about 12% into the book, and right now it's about a young Amish married couple where the wife was from a different Amish community and moved to be with her husband. But what I know about the book is the husband starts making some not great choices. So we're going to see how this book fleshes out as it goes. Right now, it's just a cute little young Amish married couple that are dealing with some things. The wife's already lonely. The audiobook that I started yesterday, and I'm now, I believe, about 5% in, is The Ragpicker King by Cassandra Clare. This is the second book in the Castelline Chronicles, and it is about a king and his body double and a physician who is a lady. I don't really want to give too much more details, at least right now, because 1, I'm not very far into the book, but 2, it is the second in a series. So I want to make sure whatever I say doesn't give any spoilers for either book. My physical book is One Texas Cowboy, 2 Mini. I'm about 60% into this book. There's a 100-year feud between 2 families. It's getting really intense throughout each of these books because this is the 3rd book in the Burnt Boot Texas series, and each time the feud has gotten more intense. This is the first time, however, one of the people in the couple is from one of the families, so that's been really interesting to see her perspective and like her thoughts on it and some action she is taking to distance herself from her family. The male main character is a cousin from out of town, so he's coming into this feud and is like, what is happening? This is a book I would love to finish this week. The last 3 books are books that I need to find a time I'm going to read them because they have been falling behind and I don't love that. They're important to me and so I want to get them moving. The first one is the Bible. I have a year-long plan and I think I'm probably a week and a half to 2 weeks behind on it. So I need to work on that, as well as a gratitude journal. I'm not gonna like catch up on the gratitude journal, but I need to work on being consistent in it. That is something I really want to get better at. The 3rd book is Breaking Free by Beth, which is a devotional about breaking free from sin. They've just been falling behind as my life has gotten crazier, and I really wanted to fix that. So that is gonna be a goal for week 33. I definitely tried in week 32. I was surviving, but that's the start of week 33. I will give you any reviews, and then in 1 week I will come back and share the books I'm in the middle of again so we can see some progress. Another week that I completely forgot to film during the week, so let's go over the 4 books I finished during week 33. The first one is a really exciting finish, and it is One Texas Cowboy, 2 Mini. This is my physical book that I don't tend to read like at night, so it's only during the day, and I don't have a lot of time to read during the day. So it is very exciting when I can finish a physical book. This is the 3rd book in the Burnt Boot Texas series. I do feel like I've talked about this book quite a bit, but there are 2 feuding families in this small town. They have neutral zones like the church and the saloon, but this feud is intense. They have their own like schools, like it is intense. Our female main character is Leah Brennan. She is from one of those families, but in this book is really starting to question some things that are going on and if she agrees with it and kind of what she wants her life to look like, especially when Rhett comes to town. Is here to work on a neutral farm and is starting to understand this feud. Gets into a very stinky situation. The other 2 books in this series, I felt like the feud has just taken over. But in this book, I didn't feel like it took over. I feel like it was a necessary thing for Leah, and the things that happened were there to push her one way or another. I ended up giving that book 4 stars. The second book was The Ragpicker King by Cassandra Clare. This is the 2nd book in the Chronicles of Castelline, where there is Prince Connor and he has a body double, Kel. And Kel is kind of caught between some things because he's trying to figure out what caused this massacre. But to get answers, he has to deal with the Ragpicker King. And then there is Lynn. She is a female physician. And so in the 1st book, she comes and saves Connor's life. And that causes some issues. But now her people think she is very important. She also has to deal with the Ragpicker King. And then Prince Connor comes back into her life demanding help. I ended up giving that book 4 stars. The third book was a book off the Roy Gilmore book list, and it was A Streetcar Named Desire by Tennessee Williams. It is a play where Stella is pregnant and her and Stanley have a really rocky relationship, very passionate, but also goes the other way. And then Stella's sister Blanche shows up and isn't necessarily what she appears. There's some chaos that definitely ensues in the book. I like the book. I feel like the Gilmore Girl books always add more variety to my reading, and I ended up giving that book 3.5 stars. The fourth book was one of the 25 books I want to read in 2025 because I won it in a Goodreads giveaway, and it is Letters of Trust by Wanda E. Brunsetter. It follows a young Amish girl, Eleanor, as moved from one Amish community to another to marry Vic. Vic works in construction and is very straight-laced and loves his wife, but due to a life-changing circumstance and some of the company he keeps, he definitely falls down the wrong path and starts making some really bad choices. And Eleanor has to decide what she's gonna do. She already felt alone before all of this, and so she just feels very stuck. So she ends up writing letters to her friend, and her friend really helps her not feel so alone and figure out some things to do. Eleanor does find some people in her own community to confide in. I honestly like this book a lot more than I thought I would, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. And those were the 4 books I finished during week 33. We are at the end of week 33, so let's go over the books that I'm currently in the middle of. We're gonna start with the oldest because I did update all of my numbers. I made some good progress on year-long projects. So in the Bible, I'm currently 66% of the way through, and I'm either on track or one day behind, but we've made so much progress since last week. The gratitude journal I updated, and I'm now 30% through. So again, we've been making some progress on that. And then Breaking Free by Beth Moore. I think at the beginning of the week, I told you I was 60% when I was really like 48%. And so now I am 88%. So I should finish it next week. I finished Killing Time by KJ Waters last night. This book is one of the 25 books I want to read in 2025 because I won it in a giveaway. It's also the end of a series in the way that I count series because it's the last published book as of now. So it counts for 2 categories, but it is a almost 500-page book, and it is again following Ronnie, and she's really trying to figure out what happens during these hurricanes, who the common denominator is, what she wants her life to look like because she got a new job in all of this chaos, and she's realizing her boyfriend might not be the best for her. So there's a lot of things that we're going to go through in this book. There is a 3rd hurricane coming up, and I need to look in Florida history if this is like true that these hit so close, because I do remember some of them. I am nowhere near Florida, but I feel like these names sound very familiar, so I need to look it up because now it's got me curious. My audiobook is a little bit of a gray area because I did finish The Magician's Nephew this morning. I was like 95% of the way through, so that review is going to be in week 34 because technically I finished it in week 34 if I go Friday to Friday. And so I did start Barbarian's Bride when that one was over, so that book is currently the one I'm reading, but the beginning of the day I was listening to The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis. That is the end of week 33.